I'm sorry. It's Wellness Wednesday. I am so happy to introduce you guys to one of my favorite people, one of the best people on the planet. I mean, on the planet. There's nothing that she can't do. There's literally so many different episodes I could have featuring my girl, Laura Reed. But today, we're going to be talking about her green thumb. She's a master gardener. And she's just gonna give us some insight about how she got started and what we can do to grow our own food.
Greetings. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me in your oasis of a home.
The Jungalow.
The Jungalow.
Yes. No, it's been a pleasure. And I mean, up until now with quarantine and everything, you know, it's just kind of been me and my husband and my son and our bird Spidey and right, which you guys might meet Spidey. We'll see.
You will.
You'll hear him for sure. But you know, we had just moved into this house, and up until this point, I lived in apartments and things. But my mom was a gardener, my grandmother was a gardener. They taught me from a young age of like the power of a seed, and it's sacred. You know, and it's like, and plants are our relatives, you know, it was like, there's like a ceremony to it. There's, you know, it's like everything is connected and you know, planting a garden. My mom would always say, like, you know, if you plant a garden, if you help something grow, you're working with God, you know? And so there was like,
I love that.
So there's always like a spiritual aspect, but then also a survival aspect. You know, my grandmother, a lot of our grandmothers, you know, they lived through the Depression and all these different things, and we're always at a point of survival.
Okay.
And so it was always like, hey, if you can grow your own food, you know, then you're always going to be independent. And no matter what system or country or whatever you're living in, you know, and that always resonated with me. So when the pandemic started to happen,
right,
I had my garden somewhat started, but it was a lot of, you know, flowers and more aesthetic, some medicinals, like echinacea, things like that. But then I just went into full on like, okay, let me like really grow a garden. Let me use all the space I have. And I'm here in the city in Nashville, and you know, I don't have acres of land. It's like I have a small backyard, but I focused on how do I maximize that? How do I like, you know, have like an urban garden?
Right.
So I started my kitchen, and you know, it's like using all my window space and all my light. And luckily, my kitchen right now is facing like southwest. Okay. So I get quite a bit of sun. I mean, if it was facing south, it'd be even better.
Okay.
But what I've learned living in apartments and living in small spaces, that you really don't need much. You just need sun, soil, water. And I remember living in an apartment where we had a balcony, and I did like the upside down, you know, the tomato garden. And it's like something as simple as that, and window boxes. And I was like, all right, well, let me start with herbs. That's like a good starting point for a lot of people. And you can have your little kitchen garden. Like right now on my windowsill, I have, you know, oregano, marjoram, thyme, chives, lavender, all these things. So when I'm cooking, I'm going right there.
Okay.
You know, and that's like a great way to start. They're not expensive. You can, you know, start those. All you need is some sunlight. And so that's kind of how I got going, like, recently.
Okay.
You know?
I feel like we all tapped into that. We tried to tap into that mindset. Like the first few weeks of the pandemic, we're like, okay, so if the grocery store is shut down or whatever, like if it's all sold out, like we have to be able to feed ourselves. And I think a lot of people started trying to buy plants and herbs and stuff. I did, but
and it's just keeping them alive.
It didn't last too long. That was my little herb garden, but I'm starting over just with some like indoor plants and seeing like how long I can keep those alive. But how many plants do you think you have like in your home?
So my son counted.
Okay.
Because he was really curious, because we have a lot. And I have a banana plant that's usually in the living room here, but I put her banania is outside.
We'll count that because there's like a screened porch, so we'll count the banana tree for the indoor one.
And that was Spidey, by the way.
That's my little cousin Spidey.
It sounds like, you know, when your smoke alarm, the battery's out. It's like, sounds like that, but it's actually a parrot. But no, Zion counted, and it was like 77 plants. Inside.
Oh my gosh.
So we have them, you know, air quality's good. So
yeah, that's inside. They're all beautiful. They're all thriving and happy. And so we're gonna go on a little tour of the outside where she's planted multiple gardens and a community garden for the whole community. And so we'll check that out too. And now we're in your beautiful backyard.
So,
as if it could get any better, it does.
So I'll let you know, like, we are right outside of downtown. We're in the city, you know, we don't have expansive space. When I moved out here, this was just like a square of grass, like crabgrass, nothing going on, right? And the beautiful thing about having a garden is vision. You know, it's like, it's such an act of faith. It's like I was able to see, okay, I imagined all these different spaces in this little ecosystem here. And then you make it happen and you plant a seed and there's nothing right away. You have to believe that this, you know, and you have to nurture and tend it. So it's like so many things in our lives. We have a vision, we plant a seed, we have faith, we tend it, it grows, and then we have, you know, the fruits of our labor. So like this,
that's a word.
It's a word. So this right here was like a muddy space. Like it was like water would just collect here. It just wasn't, it was unattractive. And I was like, what needs a lot of water? Cucumber. Cucumber loves water. So here I got lots of cucumber growing. I also planted, this is a Cherokee purple, an heirloom tomato, which, you know, I'm gonna have those soon. Look at those beauties. And it's like, it doesn't have to, you can make it very manicured, you know. I put little trellis here, but these guys are just, they have a life of their own. So they're coming up here. I got more rosemary and lavender here, you know, and just kind of using all the space. Got a lime tree, a lemon tree, which you can put those in pots, and as they get bigger, you just keep getting, you know, a bigger pot.
Yeah, I grew up with lime and lemon trees in my backyard too.
Yes, I love it. I mean, if we were in California, I could just have them in the ground. But in Tennessee, it gets cold. And then this space here, like these are smaller magnolias, and I planted these because I love magnolias. They're one of my favorites. And these are gonna get big, so I won't always be able to grow other plants with them. But for now, I planted these. These are tomatoes. I got my marigolds down here, you know, just kind of helping them out. I planted oregano, because oregano and tomato go well together. They balance each other like the corn and the beans. They help each other out, and even culinary-wise, they go well together. Here I have like eggplants and squash. I planted things that can just spread out low, you know, that they could kind of just take their time, spread out. And, you know, like I just am letting everything coexist. This garden here, you can see this pumpkin is like taken over. So I didn't even plant this pumpkin. I think I had some compost with pumpkin seeds in it, and it has just like, it's thriving. And I keep just kind of making sure it's not, you know, overwhelming other plants, because you got to be careful of that as well. Like there's a lot of different wildflowers growing here. This is a type of poppy. This is great for butterflies, love these. Here I have jasmine. This is a crepe myrtle, so this will be a tree, and it's coming up, and it's you know, and it's like, it doesn't mind. It's like, all right, pumpkin, you can spread out where there's room for all of us. We're all gonna get our shine, you know. And if the pumpkin tries to dim out its relatives, I have to check it. But you know,
so much to learn from nature.
So much to learn. Got more figs growing here because they love the sun. And then this garden,
my favorite.
Yes. So this is literally mostly food scraps. All these are onions and shallots and garlic, and these all came from, you know, I cut up an onion. I just would keep the bottom of it where I have the roots and put it in water and propagate it. And look at this, you know, it's now made 4 onions. 1 onion has now made me 4 onions, and I'll be able to harvest those soon. And I eat the greens. I'll like cook with the tops of these. And then these lettuces here, I bought these in the store. It was like a hydroponic butter lettuce. And you know, I kept the bottom where you have the roots, put that in the soil, and it started to grow from the top. So I bought this lettuce once. I've already harvested it since doing that, and now this will be the 3rd time I've eaten off of this one root.
Wow, and you have so many.
So many. And then some of these are seeds. I put lettuce seeds, but some of these are, you know, when I'm cooking, I'll be like, all right, this is the part we're about to eat. This is the part I'm gonna plant. You know, and I'm separating it. Part to plant, part to eat. These are radishes here that I started from seeds. Down here are gonna be potatoes. With your potatoes are one of those things that they can kind of grow in so many different soils all over the world. And you take your potato, you know how you have it sitting in your produce basket, whatever, it starts to have those sprouts. Well, when you go to eat it, or if you're like, oh, it's time to throw this out, cut off little pieces, maybe this big, of where those sprouts are. Let them dry out, leave them, somewhere they can dry out for a couple days, and then you just plant those. And this right here this was a little piece of potato that started, and now is going to probably give me many potatoes, but it was just a little chunk of potato that was starting to, grow the eyes, like we call them the eyes, and you just plant that, so a lot of this was food I got in a grocery store, or it was the seeds of something I ate. I really didn't have to invest so much. It was a lot of time,
We had an amazing salad right from this garden the other night.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
And it was great because we ran out of greens. My neighbors came over and joined us, so I was like, oh, we need more food. I just came over here because I know there's no chemicals on it, and I was like, oh, we ran out of food? Hold up.
I love you.
Yeah. I remember this, It's abundance. It's abundance. And that's what, planting a garden teaches us, is this abundance and the time and energy you put in. Like, this was just like a dark corner here in the garden, but with this beautiful tree. And I imagined I had this vision of having a place to just come and be calm, a little water space, like a Zen garden. I have we got our little baby Buddha here. And this is a willow tree, a little baby willow coming up. And my mom worked with me because she's the original green thumb. She can make anything grow. But she helped me, and we just made this little pond. It was just, you can get like the inserts, and then I just kind of built up around it with rocks. I planted, see this here? I can't even remember the name. I got it as a clipping from my mom.
I love it.
She gave me a few little tiny pieces, right? All I needed was a little
taken
bit of salt.
over.
It is like thriving.
I just want to cover my apartment walls with this, whatever.
I know. I want to sleep in this. I just want to lay right here. But it's just, and now this is like a whole nother little ecosystem. I got a few little baby fish, and birds come in here and bathe. And it's just this used to be a forest, and I am sad sometimes that I'm taking up so much space. But it's okay, I can do my part by helping.
You are going above and beyond.
Helping create a little ecosystem here. So, it's and then we got food, lately, now that things are starting to get ready, it's all right, it's time for dinner. I'll be all right, let me go walk outside. Let me see what's ready. Oh, I got some beans. I got some salad. I got some chard, some beets. And that's how we're eating. And that's how we ate for thousands of years, and it's we got so dependent on grocery stores and this system that wasn't really serving us, and it really wasn't giving us health, because our food is our medicine. Our medicine should be our food. It's I don't have health issues, thank God. I'm blessed. But it's since a young age, I was always really conscious of what I put in my body.
Okay, so lastly, we know it takes water, sun, a little dirt to make some stuff grow. But guess what? A song is also, I feel the reason why all her stuff is thriving, because she sings to her babies. And so I know all y'all can't sing, but
you can speak to them. Tell them they're beautiful. It's we are like these plants. It's we have been planted in soil. And anything that we put our minds to, that we put love into and tend, it's going to grow. We are like these seeds. We are like these plants.
So will you share a little song with us?
I will. I love to come and I sing at them at night while everyone's sleeping. I'll come check on them. But I have this song called Naturally, and I always think about them. It's can't stop the sun from shining, can't stop the rain from falling, you can't stop a star from shining, it's just what they do, yeah, naturally, naturally, all like seasons need to turn, like children need to learn, all like flowers.
Amazing! I love you. I love you. This is why her plants are so happy. My sister Laura, thank you so much for blessing us with that song and just giving us some valuable information about how we can grow our own food. So until next week, tend to the garden of your life. And as always, be well.